Hello, Gravitrons. I'm more gravity. Let's play chess. Okay, we're gonna go over the first of those two games, and possibly the second. This was a total massive blunder on my part. I had this game pretty much sewn up, and I made that rare boo-boo, that rare blunder I don't make anymore really all that often. At least not to this magnitude. Turned a black win into a black loss. Right, so we were sitting here, and white's got some sort of advantage. Um, black presses with queen takes d4, has some momentum behind it. You see that black's able to just get a few shots in here against white. Then a trade of pieces. Soon enough, black is up a full piece. This is a mate and 8. And okay, so here, queen d1 check, rook takes queen, rook takes d1, king to e2, rook takes h1 has to be considered. But it's so hard to coordinate my rook on h8 with my rook on h1 when there's a white pawn and a black pawn between the two. And not only that, but the white pawn is defended. I'd have to probably castle first, which isn't such a bad idea anyway. Then bring my now f8 rook to probably the d file, though the b file is worthy of some consideration, and connect on the d file somehow. The problem is, two rooks aren't better than a queen unless they're coordinated, and then they're better. But coordinating these two rooks was tough, so I decided not to. Let's take some time out here and practice this practice first computer as if I had played queen to d1 check, queen d1 check, rook takes d1, rook takes d1 check, king e2, rook takes h1, and now we see that white picks up not just the pawn. I'm worried about that much about the pawn, but that the queen is really all up here in black's grill, so to speak. Hip hop word for face, and especially the teeth area. But yeah, black has to play rook to f8, lose another pawn, so we're only ahead by 2 points, and it's blitz game, recall, so we don't have all that much thinking time. White is protecting. It would be really nice to play pawn takes h2 here, and then somehow connect rooks on the h file, but it's just not there, my friends. So I had to take time to play rook to f8 here with black to move. I'd love to move to d1, but that's covered by white's king. I don't think rook to g1 helps all that much after white responds with g3. F1 and E1 and D1 are all out because of the king. And yeah, this is just going to be a horrible, look just there. Rook to B1, a tempting move to try to undermine the pawns on white's queen side. Loses to the queen capture on B1 immediately. So I didn't want to go in for all that. Plus, I was ahead just like a regular clear bishop at the point in time where I made whatever move I made next. Okay, so it's like queen to b2 is fine. Queen takes b2, another point of material. I'm still holding down g7 for my enemy's queen. I'm winning a tempo worth of initiative against the rook on a1, which has to come back, we think, probably all the way to e1. And then I just pretty much misread this as well. It's still a fine move, but I misread the response. My opponent shows greatness here. This is not. My opponent showed a great move here. King to g1. I said, oh, okay. So this is on my part. This is a little bit of an emotional swing. So I don't have this forced mate. As I was banking on the only other legal move here for white would be rook to e2, and then I play rook to d1 checkmate. But instead, this sneaky move, king to g1, shows that yes, white is ahead, black is ahead a ton of material and other considerations, but the fight is not over yet. And then I felt sheepish through this that this pawn just sneaks in here one by one like this. Even to the last move, black um, has this game. So we'll go even to here. Play a better move for black. What's a better move for black? They're all over the place, my friends. I would like most amongst them, perhaps pawn to h6 is a fine move. And then we'll just keep ticking away at the material advantage, knowing now that, of course, the king has unveiled an attack on my queen. You know, you'd like to trade queens, but a move like queen to g5 doesn't help that much. The queen just moves away. There's enough space, and then things aren't quite as compact. I rather like having all these targets near each other. I mean, yes, they, for the most part, protect each other, but sometimes it's easier to get in a material trade as a result. So let's play. I like queen to d5 here. Then we're going to get this trade for certain. My opponent comes to the h file. We're going to centralize this bishop. I think gain. Yeah, so black is doing very well here. We know that our queen is under attack. Is there something direct to do about that? The instinct in me says to play queen to e2. Now white is under all kinds of threats. He moves his king onto it moves its king onto a light colored square where I can no longer pick up the queen with a discovered attack. I think pawn c5 makes sense. See this, I know to consider the pawn storm. Alright. This pawn storm idea. Take that out. The other idea was rook c8. and the queen trade should pretty much solve this. Okay, you know what? Let's go back a bit. We kind of lost our bearings here. Right. So a better move here for white than king g2. As it doesn't really matter. Right, so we'll play the move king g6 anyway. We have this alternative direction. It's actually a little better for white. Situation is hopeless, but just to tie things all together here. Alright, so that was one possibility of that game. Things didn't go that way. Things went... What is this we're looking at? This game, my opponent slowly snuck this pawn down the side, and I just let him checkmate me, not on purpose. Maybe there was some time pressure issue. I don't know. I feel really bad. This is one of the worst games I've played in recent years. I just an absolute drop. So I guess I can take some I can take some pride in the fact that this was one of the worst games in recent years. So just a horrible blunder. I feel really badly about this game. Well, that's going. We're going to let's check out the highlights on that. 63 accuracy in the 60s there, but also the game that I ended up thankfully winning. And we're gonna review this game, and then that's it for tonight, folks. I'll be signing off. Okay, so that's even with the added moves. It's still not an accurate game. Alright, he's good to know. Good to know. Alright, so this is the game I won. You can see there's a nice steady increase in White's hold over the game. And yeah, it's just kind of a good win, a nice, fun win. Now I want to remember too that some of the pieces I I went up on this game was just completely dropped and right in my way. Uh, so we have the King's Gambit accepted. I want to take control of the center. We're winning tempo against the bishop. We're setting up a trap. Kick the knight. Complete. Going forward with the trap, we will have now a knight for 3 pawns. Trade this sort of bad bishop, but then I give up this outpost for my enemies, for my opponent's knight, and that is just kind of sitting there until I found out how to swap him for my knight, and soon enough, White is gonna power through. Say here, pretty much White is powered through, but then Black drops a queen on a5 and resigns. So actually, not all that great a move. Not all that great a move. Dropping the queen, yeah, definitely not. Not all that great a game either. For White, sort of win, even with even forget the queen drop. Let's say the queen perhaps is better off to capture on g5. Then it's still, I think White's ahead enough that the drop. It's just a weird game. It's a weird game. Well, um, ends up being kind of complicated, I guess. As the game were, in reality, I picked up the queen, and rook goes to e6, check. We'll play this one out all the way to checkmate, of course, like we always do. Almost always do. All right. All right. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Gravitrons. I'm More Gravity. Have a great night.